Welcome back to Strike the System. I'm your host, Amy. Now, today we're going to start off with a couple of quick little news pieces. We're going to talk about trans news today because it's so important and so horrific. Now, let's first talk about Sam Nordquist, a 24-year-old originally from Minnesota here, where I'm located. The story's horrific. Please go look it up on BBC. Say Sam's name. Forward information out about Sam. Don't let his story go away. New York police have now charged 5 people with one of the most disturbing murders they've ever seen of this trans man. And he was tortured, both physically and emotionally. And I get chills talking about this, for weeks, if not, a month or two before he was murdered. And they say they may consider it to be a hate crime. They're not sure yet. How they only may consider it, I don't understand. Please go research this. This is the most horrific, disgusting act of horror that a lot of us have ever seen. Go check out BBC News for this article. Also, another horrific, sad story. Elisa Ray Shoup, hopefully I said her name correctly, or maybe their name, sorry, was a retired United States Army soldier who in 2016 became the first person in the United States to obtain legal recognition of a non-binary gender, that X, right? This is the veteran that took their own life on January 27th in the parking garage in the VA Medical Center in Syracuse, New York. They, just a beautiful individual from everybody that knew them, and they were found draped in a trans flag and hung themselves. They left a very, very, very powerful suicide note, and their story has been not covered by anybody, hardly at all. And I urge you to go check out their suicide note and read it. It is chilling and painful and heartbreaking and beautiful, all this at the same time. You can find it on Substack, and there'll be the link in the video so you can see that. So that's some quick news. Please go read the stories. They're so, so important. Now let's move on to some independent press. I've added a few things since our video yesterday. First, swingleft.org. Please go check them out. See how you feel about that. There's also ProPublica. It's an investigative journalism in the public interest, so ProPublica.org. Then there's the Intercept, theintercept.com. And then these I also talked about yesterday briefly, fightbacknews.org. Political Revolution, so it's pol-rev.com. Check out the events. Their events page is fantastic. Please go check out the events. Also, democracyjournal.org, AP News, thenation.com, and inequality.org. So if you need some, better news sources than mainstream media and you're not used to looking for those, there's some for you to look into. Now, let's talk about what you can do. Now, I understand that not everybody can do everything, but everybody can do something. So let's get some ideas. Now, the first thing that is probably the easiest thing that you can do if you want to support the cause is go to generalstrikeus.com. Now, this needs 11 million people to commit to say they'll go on this big nationwide strike. And I believe it's 3.5% of a population can change the world, and that would be 11 million. So far, there's 250,843 people, myself included, who have signed they call it a strike card. It's super easy. You fill out some information. I threw in my cell phone number, and once they get to that 11 million number, they text you with details about when the strike is, what the details are, and it couldn't be easier. That is the easiest thing you could possibly do. Now back to, we were talking about on the previous page, swingleft.org. They have an amazing list of groups across the whole country. I've had several people ask me for their state. Where can they find groups, so we can mobilize? I've been asked about California, Ohio, and Kentucky, and I found all three of those on this swingleft.org. So there's 262 groups throughout the U.S. that have formed. And if you go onto their website, you can see there's a Take Action Now, where they talk about there's a Protect the Wisconsin Supreme Court motion they're doing now. Or you can click the Explore Local Groups, put in your zip code, your address, whatnot, and it will show the groups that are closest to you. There were a ton in California, Ohio, and I did see a couple in Kentucky. Go check those out. Now, these are ones that we talked about yesterday. Something else that's super easy to do is 5Calls. 5calls.org. I believe there's an app too. So you basically just enter your location and you choose what you want to call about, and you can read a script. So this will give you all your representatives' contact information, so you can leave a message and say, hey, I really hate what Doge is doing. Why are we letting him do this? Or whatever the cause is. They have short scripts. They'll maybe take you less than a minute to read. Now, if you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody, that's weird. People are scary. I have stranger danger. I have stranger danger too. I feel you, okay? You just call after hours, right? You call after hours. No big deal. You read the script. But if you're leaving a voicemail, you just have to leave your full address, so then they tally the call. And you want them to tally the call because it's so important that they get these messages, especially if you're in a red state. That's very important because they want to know people are pissed and we need better representation. Then there's the Women's March. Go womensmarch.com. Now on March 8th, Little Rock, Arkansas, there's a People's March. Back to that political revolution, pol-rev.com. Go to the events tab because they have a ton of events that you can go through. Now, 217 is No King on President's Day. Now, this video will come the day after that, but we did talk about that yesterday. So they're having protests all over the country. Now, 220 is a day without Visa. No Visa transactions. Leave your Visa cards at home, people. Musk invaded our treasury and he became a partner with Visa. I have not dived deep into that, but it's definitely something. Feel free to research. Then 222, Tacoma, Washington, and Wright Park. There's an immigrant trans women's healthcare rights gathering. 224 in Modesto, California, between 10 and 2 p.m. Protest with Congressman Tom McClintock's Modesto office. 228 everywhere. It's a one-day boycott, no purchases, and call out of work or school if you can. Now, we do not want you to call out if you're like a healthcare provider. If someone is going to be injured because you're not at work, stay at work. We don't want to injure people, okay? It's an economic blackout on that day. Some people are talking about blacking out social media and other things too, but there is information about this on the 28th. Now, there is another one that's upcoming, and I'm letting you know this early so you can prepare. Starting March 15th, right? There's a general strike, a general boycott. It is the Shutdown 315 movement. There's QR codes on here where you can read more about it. Now, what is really different about this one, it is not a one-day thing. It starts on the 15th, and it does not end until our country is changed. It could be a day. That'll be a day, though. Could be a week, could be a month. But this is where we only shop small at little local mom and pop shops that support and agree that we don't want an oligarchy, right? And support to protect people and not hate people. We do not spend money. If you cannot go to work, don't go to work. We don't put any damn money in the economy. We're shutting the country down. Period. We are saying no, and we are protesting through nonviolent ways and putting these oligarchs, we're taking their money. We're keeping it. They want to steal our money. We're going to keep it and not give it to them. So cancel subscriptions. There's all these things you can do. There's information on what all this entails if you go to their sites and you scan those QR codes. So there are some things. So we can't all do everything, but we can all do something. And at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay because you know what? We're in this together. So take care of you and yours. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.